Hi and welcome. We've come to the end of the second week of my push for PGA Tour swing speed. But how's it gone? And what can you learn from my journey? It's been a funny week of ups and downs for me this week. I started with my first strength training program and I really struggled through that. I got it done, but boy, it was really hard work. The following day was my first stack session of the week, and again this was tough like the workout. I'd hit quite a lot of balls beforehand doing some driver swings. I don't know whether that didn't help, but I was really not performing very well. I struggled throughout the whole of the routine, and at the 195 gram weight where we need to obviously be measuring how I'm doing, at that point I was struggling, and as you can see from the chart here, I only managed to hit 98 miles per hour. That's one of my slowest speeds and something that I'm really not happy about. I hate it when my swing drops below 100 miles an hour with the 195 grams, even if I'm not swinging it particularly fast. So it was a tough day, it got me a little bit down, but obviously we pushed on. I also remembered my tip from last week, which is that you have to embrace the highs and accept the lows. So I took that on board and obviously carried on. Session 2 was a little bit better. I had some real heavy weights that the stack suggested that I do, nearly the maximum that it can prescribe, and it was hard work. But when I got to the 195 grams, I wasn't doing too bad, and I hit 100 miles per hour. And like I say, that's where I like my minimum to be. So it was much, much better than my first session, and generally I felt a little bit happier coming out that side. My second strength training of the week was a really positive one, which was really nice to see, having not had such a great first one and having some troubles with my speed during the stack system. I was in a really good frame of mind and my body was feeling pretty good, and I decided that that was the day for me to start my push into my winter progress as opposed to the maintenance that I've done. I increased a number of the weights on my push and pull exercises and I completed them all successfully. I came away feeling pretty good, so I've now set a new baseline of weight for a lot of my exercises, which again I can move forward with as we go through this winter program to not just maintain my strength, but hopefully increase it further. But I tell you what, I was a little bit sore the following morning. My third and final speed training session of this week was pretty much standard. It felt reasonably good. I made some good swings, and at the 195 gram weight, I managed to hit 101 miles an hour, which is 111 mile an hour in club head speed. Not where I want to be, but much more in the ballpark of where I currently am. So towards the end of the week, I started to feel a little bit more positive about my progress, although still not that happy that I haven't quite managed to maintain where I am or managed to push on a little bit. Here's a couple of quick clips from my most recent session. There's a step swing and 2 max out 195 gram swings, just so as you can see that I'm really trying to put the effort in here.
Swing 3 was 115, move fastest. Swing 1 was 102, E-speed is 112, distance potential is 304.
My sleep was pretty good this week, and I played a decent round of golf at the weekend. I shot 1 over par gross, and I made a stupid bogey from the middle of the fairway on 18. But that's golf. So that's week 2 in the bag. No speed gains from the stack system, but an increase in some of the weights that I'm doing in my workout, which is positive and something that I'm hopeful we can continue, so as we can see the results build through the rest of this year and the early part of next. So what's my week 2 tip around speed training? I'm actually convinced that everybody has a little bit more in the tank when it comes to speed. And I think people are perhaps a little bit scared to try and swing at it hard. I'm suggesting that perhaps during the winter, even if you don't want to do a full swing speed training setup like I'm doing, that when you go to the range to practice during the winter, you can take 2 or 3 balls and give them a little bit extra. See what happens, see if you can control the club face and see if you can get a feeling of what it's like to actually swing just a tiny little bit faster. You may find that it actually works perfectly fine, and you may find that you still maintain a reasonable control of the club head. If you don't, you've still got a few months for you to carry on working on that while we go through the winter to come out the side of the spring. You probably won't find that you gain 5 to 10 miles an hour doing this, but you may find that you could gain 2 to 3 miles an hour, and that could translate to 5 yards of difference, or maybe even half a club in total. So it's something worth having to think about, even if you don't want to go on to a full swing speed training session, to understand that you've probably got a little bit more in the tank than you think you have. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can continue to see my progress, and also you can learn how you may be able to gain a little bit of speed, gain some distance, and reduce your handicap, so as when it comes to the spring, you're a better golfer. If you've missed any of this series so far, you can find it here, and I'll see you next time for week 3's update. I'm Graham, and I'll catch you on the course soon.